realize the meaning of it. Okay, hello everyone, I'm Sean. Today I'm going to talk about the lesson my cousin told me. Okay. The person in this picture is my cousin. He was a teacher in school, and the school has the student to take the course like mountain climbing, car driving, and so on. And he was just like a coach, instructing them and taking care of them. And besides, he was good at repairing the computer. So I remember that when I was a little boy, he often came to our home and helped us to fix it. And besides, he also played with my brother and me and told us our homework. And sometimes he would share something with us, like his feelings and his thoughts. And he once told me that being a teacher is one of his dreams, because if a child could be inspired and thus in the right way in his life because of his love and education, he would be very delighted. And that, I think that was exactly the thing to supporting him and the thing making his life more meaningful. And at that time, because nothing could knock him down, so he was one of the people I admire and the person I want to become. However, 2 years ago, one day my dad drove me home at the end of class as usual. And when I got into the car, I saw my dad was a little strange. I don't know why, but just not like usual. And suddenly he told me something I still remember now. At a very low tone, he said, "Your cousin was gone this afternoon." And on hearing this, originally I thought my dad was joking, but a minute later, I realized that was true. And it was her dad, it was a car accident. That day, my cousin was going to be late for his job, and thus he rode his motorcycle at a very high speed. But all of a sudden, an elder woman ran out, but it's too late to stop it. So in order not to hurt her, my cousin turned his motorcycle to the other way sharply, and he fell down 10 meters away from the place he bumped into her. And unfortunately, because the shock was too hard, so eventually he died of internal bleeding. Then everything changed. On the day of funeral, I couldn't still believe the truth. And when we arrived at the funeral home, my cousin's name was hung on the ark, and it was so big to me, and as if it was persuading me the truth again and again. And I don't know how to express. That's some feelings. And when I got off the car, I don't know what to do. I didn't know what to do, because I saw every member of my family was quite different from the usual. Everyone was in the atmosphere of sadness. And I came closer to my aunt, tried to comfort her. Of course, she was the most grievous person that day. And I never saw such a red nose and red eyes like that, because she cried a lot. And in front of her, she cried with tears and said, I never have the chance to call my son's name in front of him. Never and never. That's made me broke down totally. And I couldn't help but burst into tears. So I got in the car, locked the door, and cried for this for a long time. Because I can imagine that how sorrowful it is for a mom who lost his son. And I tried to calm down, but every time I thought of his family's reaction, I cried again. And the funeral began. And we came closer to the front of his photo and watched his photo. I recall the time we spent together and the time we share our happiness together. But now, it could be the past in my life, no present and no future. After we finished it, the toys told us we can go to the back of our house to see and talk to my cousin. And in fact, in the beginning, I was a little afraid. But after I looked at my cousins, I cried again. I don't know how to express, but although there was just one step between my cousin and me, but for us, it was so long. Maybe the longest distance is the distance between death and life. And we're so close, but we couldn't talk to each other like before. And it dawned on me that a precious life was just gone in this way. And no sign in previous and nothing warning us to prepare for it. And it was just like the movie Bruce Almighty says. That's the way the cookie crumbles. We don't know what the future is and how long we can stay in this world. So the only thing we can do is seize the time and cherish the present. Besides, I think we should treat well to our family and our friends. Because if something really happens to us, the people who will be sad and care about us are them. But we are always sorry and regret after we lose something, we lose them. But for most of cases, I think they are all too late. So, in a limited life, do what you want to do and talk what you want to talk. Express your gratitude and affection to people you want to talk to. That's the most important thing, I think, in the life. And if somebody would like to ask me what's the most precious thing I thought in my life, I think the answer will be the life, because that's the lesson my cousin told me and I learned from him. And I think I will keep it in my mind forever, and I believe my cousin will live in our memories forever. That's my story. Thank you.
8 minutes 15. Now it's time to go. Okay. I think I believe you practice a lot. Okay. All right. Q&A session. Any questions for Sean regarding his story?
How long did it take you to overcome the death of your cousin? How did you overcome it?
I think it's hard to build and comfort the people who encounter it. I think it just depends on the time. The time longer and maybe the feelings you feel will be smaller, and you can the only thing you can depend on to
How young is your cousin? How young is your cousin?
Yeah, about 35.
Right. Let's give Sean some feedback, okay, in terms of his presentation from audience perspective. Like which part you enjoy the most, which part he did really well, okay, and let's give some feedback, positive feedback. Okay. Anyone? Which part do you think Sean did really well in this presentation?
He has many hand gestures while he is talking from sitting. We will keep focus on him.
Okay, alright. What kind of hand gesture are you talking?
He was using this.
Okay, alright. So he's pretty good at illustrating something with his hand gesture or emphasize certain key points. Okay, very good. Very good. Anyone else? Anything else with that?
I think your PowerPoint can improve because
Is it positive thing?
uh,
Something to
can be
improve.
improved.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
wait, just wait. Let's talk about that later. Any other positive feedback? Okay, definitely save that. Okay.
It makes lots of eye contact with people.
Oh, very good. That's a very important point in the presentation. He's not afraid of looking at us. Okay. When we make a speech, it's really important to maintain eye contact because it's a way to communicate with your audience. If you don't look at them, then they don't feel like you're talking to them. So it's really great that Sean was able to do that. And nice observation. Okay. All right. Anyone else?
I think although it is a sad story, but Sean put a smile on his face during the presentation. I think the smile is a very important part in the presentation.
Okay.
Yes,
All right.
it can let you be more closer between you and the listener.
Okay. Were you in my ETP camp?
Huh? What?
Were you in the ETP
Yes.
camp lesson? Okay. That sounds familiar. Alright, definitely. When the presenter smile, and that will make the audience feel closer. That's true. Okay. And of course, also I said it depends on the topic. If you are talking about a sad story, it may not be necessary to smile. But in this case, I guess that makes us feel much more comfortable or feel closer. That's good. Okay. All right. Good point. Anyone else? Yes.
I think your story is very true and you express it very genuinely, almost like I can feel that sentence.
Very good, Kitty. Wonderful. Okay. I do think Sean has this sincere look and sincere presentation. Yeah, very good. You definitely affect us the way you talk, the way you present this message. Okay, wonderful. And I do think Sean, you can be a good. Well, I'm sorry, something else. Okay, it's not relating to the speech, but I do think you can be a very good salesperson. I think a good salesperson is not the one who can talk really, just talk whatever, who is able to express himself or herself really well. It's really not the point. A good salesperson is the one who's able to the person look very sincere and very honest, and that's a way to convince people much more effectively, I think. So you do have this sincere look that makes you a really good salesperson, I think. Okay. But anyway, it's something else. So I totally agree with you. Okay. One more? Someone else? No. The same point? Sorry. Okay. Yeah. All right. Something that I think, Sean, you did really well is that I love your attention getter. Although no one answered the question, but it's okay. You certainly got our attention and make us think about the question. So that was very good opening. And then you talk about your topic after that. I think that was great. And I also think the visual aid is great. I know that Anna has something to say about that. Okay, all right. I also think you are a very good storyteller. Okay. For example, like what Kitty points out, it's really descriptive, very vivid, with details when you describe the story. And I could see that when you describe what happened on the funeral. I could picture that. And just like what Kitty said, I felt like I was there with you to see all this or experience that. So that was really vivid. Okay, very good job. I also think I believe you, as I said, you rehearse a lot. That's why you can tell the story within 10 minutes. It was really good. Okay. Okay, something to work on. Something that you can change a bit that will make it even better presentation. Go ahead, Anna.
At first I like you answer questions. That's made us think about your points, this presentation's point. But I think you can put something on your PowerPoint like what's life and put a beautiful picture, or you can ask what life is a journey and you can put a journey picture, or is a examination, or you can put an examination, and you can imagine like everyone won't answer your question, so you can just answer this question by yourself.
Okay. So there are a couple of suggestions, and that's for speakers to think about. But again, all the feedback are not just for Sean. Actually, it's for all of us, especially the rest of the speakers. Okay. So all these suggestions are something for you to keep in mind. All right. So maybe think about all different photos for different key points. Okay. And maybe have the question with some picture. All right. Very good. Anyone else? Good suggestion. Go ahead, Randy.
You can avoid to use some really difficult vocabulary. Maybe
For example?
like I think you say your cousin died because of
Internal bleeding.
oh.
What's that? What?
I didn't hear it. No.
Oh.
I thought it was a really difficult.
Oh.
I should explain it.
Yeah, it's a terminology, right? Yeah. So it's okay you say it, but right after that, just like our paragraph writing, when you give a term, don't assume that the audience understand that. So if you can explain in a way that's easier for people to know what that is, that will be really helpful. Otherwise, I totally missed that part. But anyway, Randy, for example, some of us may think about what is that, and then that will be a distraction. If you don't explain, then some of the audience probably will keep thinking about that word, and then we'll miss the following messages. So it will be great if we talk about certain terms and explain more. Good, very good. Anyone else? Any other suggestions? Okay. I do want you to practice giving feedback. Okay, it doesn't matter you think it's really good feedback or you think it's just tiny little thing. It's okay. It's good to practice. Okay, and you may be surprised when you say something like others like, yeah, I agree with you. I do think so too. Okay, or if it's like no one agree with you, it's okay. It's your perspective from audience. Well, from your perspective, it's okay. All right. Okay. For Sean, I think you did really well by telling the story. And just one thing I want you to work on is that later on we can practice. I also need to practice this part, so we can practice together. Okay. I want you to work on your intonation, especially when we tell a story. You can try to think about what is the keywords you try to emphasize. And when you talk about the keywords, you can speak louder or speak slowly. Okay. And so sometimes you can change the way you talk. That will make the story even more attractive. Okay, I think you already told a really good story. Now if you can work on intonation, that will be even better. Okay, so it's just tiny thing for you to work on for myself as well. I have this monotone voice, so I have to remind myself to practice. Okay, so just some tiny suggestion. And one more sentence, you said he rode his motorcycle in high speed. Actually, he rode his motorcycle very, very fast. Okay, so not in high speed. I think it's Chinese. Okay, so just one suggestion. Okay, all right. Very good job. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing the story with us. Okay. to the next one. By the way, Randy, could you turn the music down a bit? Just a second. But do it slowly. Good question. Maybe elephant. And thank you for that. Okay. But just not, try not to be a distraction.
Yeah, I'm afraid of this.
Not me, but the people, you're not the speaker.